She hit send on the text, her loneliest Christmas wish, typed in a moment of weakness at 2 a.m. Then she saw the name. Not her sister. Not her friend. Andrea Vitale. The Mafia boss whose penthouse she cleaned in silence. The man the agency warned her about in whispers. Don't ask questions. Don't look him in the eye. He's connected. And she just sent him, I wish someone would see me. Really see me. Just me. Her phone buzzed. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, finish your work. Don't leave. For words that felt like a death sentence. When the private elevator hummed to life during her shift, something that never happened, Janelle knew her life was about to change forever. He stepped out. Looked at her. Really looked. And whispered 4 words that would shatter everything. Tell me your real wish. Welcome back, my beautiful family and friends. If you are hooked in and ready to enjoy the story, click subscribe and let me know in the comments section where you are watching from, because tomorrow I'll be giving you an interesting story such as this one and you don't want to miss it. Now let us begin. The phone slipped from Janelle's fingers. Not dropped. Slipped. There was a difference. Dropped meant an accident. Slipped meant her hands had given up, betrayed by exhaustion that lived in her bones now, deep as marrow. She stared at the screen face up on the bathroom floor of the penthouse she'd been cleaning for 3 months. The message sat there in that horrible blue bubble, delivered and read. 2 check marks. The kind that meant no taking it back. I wish someone would see me. Really see me. Not the maid, not the help, not the invisible hands that make everything perfect. Just me. That's all I want for Christmas. To matter to someone. Sent to Andrea Vitale. Her employer. The man whose marble floors she scrubbed on her knees. The man whose coffee she prepared at 6 a.m. sharp, 2 sugars, no cream, left on the kitchen island where he'd find it without ever seeing her face. The man the housekeeping agency warned her about in whispers. Don't ask questions. Don't linger. Don't look him in the eye. He's connected. You understand what that means? She understood. Janelle's reflection trembled in the gold-framed mirror. 32 years old, eyes too tired for her age, hair wrapped in the same purple scarf her grandmother once wore. She looked like every other woman on the red line at 5 a.m. Invisible. Except now she wasn't. Her hands shook as she snatched the phone. Maybe he hadn't seen it yet. Maybe. 3 dots appeared. He was typing. Oh God. Oh God. Her whisper fogged the mirror. The dots stopped. Started again. Stopped. Janelle's heart hammered against her ribs like it wanted out. She should run. Grab her coat from the service closet and vanish into the December cold. Find a new agency, a new city, a new. Her phone buzzed. Finish your work. Don't leave. That was all. For words that felt like a sentence. Across the city, in a warehouse office that smelled of cigar smoke and old violence, Andrea Vitale read the message for the 3rd time. He'd been reviewing security reports when his phone lit up, a number he'd programmed into his contacts 3 months ago simply as cleaning. He'd never called it. Never needed to. The penthouse was always immaculate when he returned, as if ghosts maintained it. But ghosts didn't send messages like this. I wish someone would see me. Andrea leaned back in his leather chair, the message glowing in the dim light. Around him, his men moved through the warehouse with practiced efficiency, counting, cataloging, ensuring every dollar flowed where it should. He'd built an empire on precision, on control, on making sure nothing surprised him. This surprised him. He studied the words like they were code. A trap, maybe. A play by a rival family. But no, there was something too raw in the phrasing, too unpolished. No one trying to manipulate him would write, "That's all I want for Christmas," with that kind of earnest ache. He pulled up his building security footage on his laptop. Scrolled back to this morning. There she was. The maid. arriving at 5:47 a.m., 19 minutes earlier than her shift required. She moved through his penthouse like water, quiet, thorough, erasing evidence of his existence and replacing it with order. He'd never paid attention before. Andrea paused the footage. Zoomed in. She was younger than he'd assumed. Black woman, delicate features, but there was a weight to her movements. The kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. She'd stopped in his living room, stood before the Christmas tree his decorator had installed, all white lights and silver ornaments, sterile as a showroom. She'd touched one ornament. Just once. Let her fingers trail over the glass like it might feel something back. Then she'd return to work. Andrea closed the laptop. He'd been in this business 20 years. Since his father put a gun in his hand at 16 and said, "Earn your name." He'd earned it. Become it. The Vitale family name opened doors and closed caskets. He was 38 years old and couldn't remember the last time someone had spoken to him without fear shading their voice. But this message, this accidental confession, it wasn't sent to Andrea Vitale, Mafia boss. It was sent to nobody. She'd thought she was texting a friend, maybe. Or one of those wish list apps people used. She hadn't meant for him to see her heart. Which meant it was real. And he couldn't remember the last time anything real had crossed his path. Andrea picked up his phone and typed, "Finish your work. Don't leave." He needed to know what happened when you actually looked at a ghost. What would you do if you accidentally sent your deepest wish to the wrong person? Drop your answer below. Have you ever had a message slip out that changed everything? Janelle cleaned like her life depended on it. Because maybe it did. She moved through the penthouse with mechanical precision, dusting shelves that held no dust, straightening cushions that had never been sat on, polishing chrome fixtures until her reflection disappeared into shine. Her phone sat heavy in her pocket, silent now, but the weight of it pressed against her hip like a loaded gun. Don't leave. What did that mean? Was he coming? Was someone else coming? She'd heard stories about people who crossed the Vitales. They didn't get fired. They got erased. The December sun slanted through floor-to-ceiling windows, turning Lake Michigan into hammered silver. 23 floors up, the world looked clean. Manageable. Nothing like the view from her studio apartment in Englewood, where sirens were the neighborhood lullaby. She was wiping down the kitchen island when she heard it. The private elevator. Humming to life. Janelle's hands froze on the granite. He never came home during her shift. Never. That was the unspoken rule. She existed in the margins of his life, the hours when he was elsewhere. The elevator doors whispered open. Footsteps. Expensive shoes on Italian tile. Slow. Deliberate. She didn't turn around. Couldn't. Her body had forgotten how to move. Janelle Morrison. His voice came from behind her, low, precise, with an edge that could cut glass or throats. That's your name, isn't it? She forced herself to turn. Andrea Vitale stood in his own living room like he'd never seen it before. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her yearly rent. Dark hair touched with gray at the temples. Face carved from something harder than marble. Strong jaw, sharp cheekbones, eyes the color of espresso that held no warmth. But he was looking at her. Actually looking. Not through her, not past her. At her. Yes, sir. Her voice came out smaller than she'd intended. How long have you worked for me? 3 months. 2 weeks. And in that time, how many words have we exchanged? Janelle's mind raced. I don't think any, sir. No. He stepped closer. Not threatening, but intentional. Each footfall measured. Not one word. You arrive before dawn. Leave before I return. Make my coffee exactly right. Fold my newspapers. Water plants I forget exist. He paused. I've been living with a ghost. I'm sorry about the message, she started. Don't. He raised one hand. Don't apologize for being human. The words hung between them like something fragile. Andrea moved to the windows, hands in his pockets, silhouetted against the winter light. From this angle, he looked almost lonely. Which was impossible. Men like him didn't get lonely. They got powerful. Tell me about the message, he said quietly. Who was it meant for? Janelle's throat tightened. My sister. Tasha. We text every night. Christmas wishes, stupid stuff. I must have clicked the wrong contact. Her laugh came out broken. Guess that's what happens when you're too tired to see straight. What makes you so tired? The question caught her off guard. I work 4 jobs, sir. He turned. 4. Cleaning service, overnight stock at Target, weekend childcare, and I deliver food Thursday evenings. She didn't know why she was telling him this. Trying to save enough to finish my nursing degree. I was 2 semesters from graduating when my mama got sick. Used my tuition money for her treatment. She paused. Didn't matter. Lost her anyway. Something flickered across his face. Too quick to name. The message, he said. You wrote that you want someone to see you. Really see you. He crossed the space between them. 3 steps that felt like an earthquake. Stopped close enough that she could smell cedar and something darker. Why don't they? Janelle's heart hammered. Because people like me. We're supposed to be invisible. That's the job. Make everything perfect, but never let them see the work. Never let them see us. Her eyes burned. Sometimes I feel like I'm disappearing. Like I'm becoming the ghost you called me. Andrea studied her face like he was memorizing it. His eyes tracked over her features. The exhaustion, yes, but also the defiance still living in her jaw. The strength holding her spine straight even as her world tilted. What's your real wish, Janelle? His voice dropped to almost a whisper. Not the one you wrote. The one underneath. The question cracked something inside her. I want to matter, she breathed. I want someone to choose me. Not because I'm useful or convenient, but because I'm worth choosing. Tears blurred her vision. I want to stop being so damn alone. The words fell between them like confession. Like prayer. Andrea Vitale, the man who'd built an empire on fear and control, reached out slowly, carefully, and caught a tear on her cheek with his thumb. You matter, he said. And for the first time in 20 years, he meant something he said. Janelle stepped back so fast she hit the kitchen island. I need to finish the bedroom. The words tumbled out. Your sheets. Thursday is sheet day. She fled before he could respond, her heart a war drum in her chest. Behind her, she felt his eyes tracking her movement, but he didn't follow. Didn't speak. In the master bedroom, she stripped his bed with shaking hands. The sheets were Egyptian cotton, thread count higher than her credit score. She bundled them mechanically, trying to forget the heat of his thumb on her face, the way his voice had cracked on you matter like the words hurt coming out. This was insane. Dangerous. Men like Andrea Vitale didn't touch women like her with gentleness. They took what they wanted, discarded what they didn't. That tear on her cheek, that was weakness he could use. Leverage. She just handed him ammunition. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Janelle yanked fresh sheets from the linen closet, her grandmother's voice echoing. Baby girl, some doors aren't meant for us. Don't go knocking where you don't belong. She belonged in the margins. In the before-dawn hours and the after-midnight shifts. She belonged in spaces people like him never had to see. Not in his living room, crying. Not under his gaze like she was something worth studying. She made the bed with hospital corners. Tight, precise, perfect. Erasing evidence she'd ever been there. Andrea stood at the window long after she'd gone. His thumb still tingled where it had touched her skin. Salt warm. Real. What the hell are you doing? He'd built his life on distance. Compartments. His father taught him early. Care about nothing, control everything. The moment you feel, you bleed. And blood attracts sharks. For 20 years, he'd been untouchable. Unmoved. His penthouse was a monument to that. Beautiful, cold, empty. Just like him. Then a message. 10 seconds of honesty from a woman who thought no one was listening. Andrea pulled out his phone, scrolled to her contact. Cleaning. Not even a name. He'd reduced her to a function, and she'd let him. They'd both agreed to the fiction that she didn't exist. But she did exist. She was in his bedroom right now, probably terrified, definitely regretting every word she'd spoken. He should let her finish and leave. Wire her severance, delete her number, return to the comfortable numbness of his routined life. His phone buzzed. A text from his underboss, Nico. Meeting in 20. The Chicago deal needs your signature. Right. The deal. Expansion into the South Side. Gambling, protection, the usual streams. Millions at stake. Senators bought and paid for. Everything moving like clockwork toward more power, more control, more of everything that mattered. Except it didn't matter. Not the way her voice had mattered when she said, "I want to stop being so damn alone." Andrea typed back. Delayed. Handle preliminaries. Nico's response was immediate. Everything okay, boss? No. Nothing was okay. He'd just touched a woman he employed. Crossed a line he'd never even approached before. Worse, he wanted to cross it again. Wanted to know why her eyes held that particular shade of tired. Wanted to know what made someone work 4 jobs and still find the energy to wish for something as simple as being seen. He wanted to know her. Dangerous. His phone rang. Nico, not texting now. Andrea declined the call. In the bedroom, he heard water running. She was cleaning his bathroom now, maintaining the careful choreography of avoidance. Soon she'd finish, slip out through the service entrance, and vanish back into the city. That should happen. That was safe. Andrea moved toward the bedroom, then stopped. His hand on the doorframe. Behind that door was a woman who'd accidentally shown him something true. Something unpolished and aching and real in a world where everything was transaction and theater. Behind that door was a complication he couldn't afford. Behind that door was, "I'm almost done, Mr. Vitale." Her voice came through the crack. Professional again. The walls rebuilt. "I'll be out of your way in 5 minutes." Out of your way. Like she was an obstacle. An inconvenience. Andrea's jaw tightened. He thought of his apartment. Spotless, sterile, a showroom where nothing lived. He thought of the last time someone had called him by his first name without fear. Couldn't remember. He thought of her message. "I wish someone would see me." And his own unspoken echo. "Me too." "Janelle," he said through the door. Silence. "I need you to stay." "Sir, I have another shift at." "Call them. Tell them you can't make it." He paused, then added the word he rarely used, "Please." The water stopped running. The bathroom door opened slowly. Janelle stood in the threshold, cleaning supplies clutched against her chest like a shield. Her eyes were guarded now, the vulnerability from earlier locked away behind professionalism. "Mr. Vitale, I can't afford to miss shifts. I have rent due on." "I'll cover whatever you lose." He said it simply like money was air. "Double it." Her spine stiffened. "I don't need charity." "It's not charity. It's compensation for your time." Andrea moved to the living room, sat on the couch he'd never actually sat on. Gestured to the chair across from him. "Please. Sit." "Sir, this isn't appropriate." "Nothing about today is appropriate." A ghost of something. Humor? Bitterness? Crossed his face. "I touched your face. You cried in my kitchen. We're well past appropriate." He met her eyes. "Sit. Or leave. Your choice." The word choice hung between them. Janelle hesitated, then slowly lowered herself into the chair, perched on its edge, ready to bolt. The cleaning supplies remained in her lap. They sat in silence. The penthouse hummed around them, central air, distant traffic, the particular quiet of expensive spaces. "Why?" she finally asked. "Why what? Why do you want me to stay?" Her voice was steady now, challenging. "You've never wanted me here before. I've been a ghost for 3 months. Your word. So why now? Because I sent a sad text? Because you feel guilty?" Andrea leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "When's the last time someone told you the truth?" The question threw her. What? The truth. Not what you wanted to hear. Not what was polite or safe or expected. When's the last time someone looked at you and said something real? Janelle's fingers tightened on the spray bottle. "My mama. Before she died. 2 years. 3. He nodded slowly. "I haven't heard the truth in longer. Everyone in my life wants something. Money, protection, favor, fear. They tell me what serves them. What keeps them alive." His eyes, dark, dangerous, softened almost imperceptibly. "Then you send me a message meant for your sister. 10 seconds of honesty from someone who didn't know I was listening. And I realized." He paused. "I can't remember the last time anything in my life was real. So I'm what? A curiosity." Anger sparked in her voice. "A little authenticity to make you feel human before you go back to whatever it is you do?" Maybe. His honesty surprised them both. Or maybe I'm tired of living in a museum. Before she could respond, his phone erupted, vibrating violently against the glass coffee table. The name on the screen. Nico. Urgent. Andrea ignored it. It rang again. And again. "You should answer that," Janelle said quietly. "No. It says urgent. Everything's urgent. Everything's always urgent." He silenced the phone. For once, something else is more important. The words settled over them like snow. Janelle set down her cleaning supplies slowly, carefully. "You scare me," she admitted. "Not because of what you are. Because of how you make me feel." "How's that?" "Seen." The word came out raw. "And I've spent so long being invisible that I don't know how to be anything else. Don't know if I'm allowed." Andrea stood, moved to the window. Outside, Chicago glittered in the afternoon light. His city, bought and paid for. "I scare myself," he said to the glass. "I've done things that would make you run. Built this life on violence and control. I'm not a good man, Janelle. I know. But you're still here. You asked me to stay." He turned. "And if I asked you to have dinner with me?" Her breath caught. "What? Dinner? Here? Tonight?" He gestured to the kitchen she'd cleaned 1,000 times. "I'll cook. Or order in. Or we'll burn water together. I don't care. Just." His voice roughened. "Stay. This is crazy. Probably. You're my employer. Then you're fired." The words came quick, reckless. Effective immediately. "Now you're not my employee. You're a woman in my apartment who I'm asking to dinner." Janelle laughed. Shocked. Helpless. "You can't just fire me so you can ask me out." "I just did. I need this job." "I'll pay you a year's salary. Severance." He pulled out his phone, fingers already moving. "Give me your bank details." "Stop." She stood, hands out. "Just stop. You can't throw money at this like it solves everything." "Then what solves it?" "I don't know." Her voice cracked. "I don't know what this is. I don't know why you care. I don't know why I'm still standing here when every instinct says run." She pressed her palms to her eyes. "I'm so tired of running." Andrea crossed to her slowly. Stopped an arm's length away. "Then don't. he said softly. Stay. Have dinner with me. Let's both stop running for one night. Janelle lowered her hands. Looked at him, really looked. Saw the loneliness carved into his features, the hunger for something money couldn't buy. Saw herself reflected in his eyes. Okay, she whispered. His shoulders dropped like he'd been holding his breath for years. Okay. Andrea couldn't cook. This became apparent within the first 10 minutes when he stared at his refrigerator, stocked weekly by a meal service, like it contained alien artifacts. You've never used this kitchen, have you? Janelle stood beside him, arms crossed, a smile threatening her lips. I have people for that. You have people for everything. Yes. He pulled out a container of pre-marinated chicken. That's the point of having money. Then why cook now? Andrea set the container on the marble island. Met her eyes. Because I want to do something with my own hands. For you. The words landed soft between them. Janelle's smile finally broke through. Okay. Step back. Let me help before you burn down your own penthouse. They worked side by side, her guiding, him following. She showed him how to properly heat a pan, how to season without overthinking. Her hands moved with practiced efficiency while his fumbled, uncertain in this unfamiliar territory. Where'd you learn to cook? He asked, watching her flip the chicken with casual grace. My mama. Janelle's voice softened. She worked doubles at the hospital, nurse's aide, same thing I was studying to be, but she always made dinner. Said no matter how hard the day, family ate together. She paused, adjusting the heat. After she got sick, I was the one cooking, trying to remember everything she'd taught me. What happened to her? Cancer. Ovarian. Janelle stirred the vegetables she'd found in his crisper drawer. By the time they caught it, it was stage 4. We tried everything. Chemo, radiation, trials. Drained my college fund, my savings, sold anything worth selling. Her voice stayed steady, but Andrea saw her knuckles whiten on the spatula. She died on Christmas Eve. 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Everyone's sorry. She didn't say it cruelly, just factually. But sorry doesn't bring her back. Doesn't pay the medical debt. Doesn't finish my degree. She glanced at him. It's just words people say when they don't know what else to offer. Andrea absorbed this. You're right. I am sorry. But you're also wrong. About what? I do know what else to offer. He moved closer, took the spatula from her hand. Tell me about her. Not how she died. How she lived. Janelle blinked, caught off guard. She. A breath. She had this laugh. Like, really loud, embarrassing in church loud. And she collected snow globes. Had like 40 of them on this shelf in our apartment. Said everyone held a tiny perfect world where nothing bad could reach you. Janelle's eyes went distant, warm. She'd sing while she cooked. Old Motown, gospel, anything. Couldn't carry a tune to save her life, but she didn't care. She sounds like she loved fiercely. She did. Janelle's voice cracked. She loved so big it left a hole when she left. Andrea nodded slowly, something breaking open in his chest. He moved to the living room, to a shelf Janelle had dusted countless times. Pulled down a small wooden box. My daughter collected snow globes too, he said quietly. Janelle froze. Your daughter. He opened the box. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, was a single snow globe. Tiny carousel horses frozen mid-gallop in perpetual snow. Isabella. Bella. His voice went rough. She was 7. Was. The word hung like a gravestone. Andrea. Janelle breathed his name for the first time. There was a hit. Rival family. 5 years ago. They knew the rules. Families are off limits. But someone decided rules didn't matter. He stared at the snow globe. They bombed my car. I was supposed to be in it. But Bella, she was so excited, wanted to sit in the front seat like a big girl. My wife was driving her to ballet. His hands trembled. I was running late. A meeting that ran over. I was supposed to be there. Oh God. Janelle's hand covered her mouth. They died instantly. That's what they told me. Like that makes it better. Like instantly means they didn't suffer. He shook the globe gently. Snow swirled around the horses. I burned that entire family to the ground. Every member. Every associate. Every person who breathed the same air. His eyes met hers. Dark. Haunted. Then I locked myself in this penthouse and spent 5 years making sure I never felt anything again. Tears streaked down Janelle's face. I'm so sorry. You said sorry is just words. Sometimes words are all we have. Andrea set down the snow globe. Crossed to her. This time when he touched her face, both hands cradling her jaw, it wasn't catching a tear. It was holding on. You asked why I want you to stay, he said. Because for 5 years, I've been dead. Going through motions in a life I built from ashes. Then you sent me a message about wanting to be seen. His thumb traced her cheekbone. And I realized I want to be seen too. Want to remember what it feels like to be human. Janelle's hands came up, covered his. I see you, she whispered. I know. His forehead touched hers. That's what terrifies me. The kitchen timer beeped. Neither moved. They ate at the dining table Andrea had never used. The chicken was slightly overcooked, the vegetables a bit mushy, but neither cared. They ate slowly, the city lights spreading below them like a galaxy laid flat. Tell me something nobody knows about you, Andrea said, pouring wine into glasses that had sat empty for years. Janelle considered this, fork suspended. I talk to my mama. Still. Out loud like she's in the room. She laughed self-consciously. I know she's not there. I'm not delusional. But sometimes I need to hear her voice in my head, so I ask her questions. Mama, what should I do? And somehow I know what she'd say. What does she tell you? Lately. Janelle met his eyes. That I work too hard. That I'm allowed to rest. That grief doesn't mean I have to punish myself forever. She sipped her wine. What about you? What's your thing nobody knows? Andrea leaned back, the question clearly uncomfortable. Then, I write letters to Bella. Every year on her birthday, Christmas, first day of school she'll never have. I write them and seal them and put them in a safe deposit box. His voice dropped. I tell her about my day, about the world, about how her mother's garden would have looked this spring. Stupid things. Everything. That's not stupid. It's talking to a ghost. Then we both are. Janelle reached across the table, her hand covering his. Maybe that's what survivors do. Keep the dead alive the only way we can. His fingers laced through hers. The touch felt monumental. They moved to the living room after dinner, that sterile showcase slowly warming with their presence. Andrea put on music. Jazz. Something instrumental that filled the silence without demanding attention. Dance with me, he said suddenly. What? Dance. Here. He stood, offering his hand. I haven't danced since my wedding. I want to remember what it feels like. Janelle stared at his outstretched hand. I don't know how to dance. Not like this. Not fancy. Neither do I anymore. A hint of a smile. We'll figure it out. She took his hand. He pulled her close, not too close, leaving space for safety, and they swayed. Awkward at first, then finding rhythm. Her head eventually rested against his chest, his chin on her hair. Just breathing together. I haven't felt safe in 3 years, Janelle whispered against his shirt. Not since Mama died. It's like I've been holding my breath, waiting for the next bad thing. And now I'm terrified. She pulled back enough to see his face. Because this feels safe. You feel safe. And that makes no sense. You're literally the most dangerous man I've ever met. Andrea's laugh was low, genuine. You're not wrong. So why do I feel like I could fall asleep standing here? Because I'd catch you. The words came without thought. I'd catch you, Janelle. She believed him. God help her, she believed him. They danced through 3 songs, then 4. Talking in fragments, stories from childhood, confessions of fear, dreams deferred. He told her about his father's brutality, how he'd learned to bury softness to survive. She told him about scholarship rejections, about scrubbing floors while classmates graduated, about the specific loneliness of invisible labor. I see your work now, Andrea said. This apartment. I thought it just existed like this. Perfect. Static. I never thought about the hands that made it that way. Shame colored his voice. I'm sorry. For not seeing you. You see me now. I do. He stopped swaying, cupped her face. And you're so beautiful it hurts to look at you. Janelle's breath caught. Andrea. Not just your face. Though that too. His thumb traced her jaw. But the way you've survived. The way you still wish for things even when the world's told you no. The way you're standing here, in the home of a man you should run from, choosing to stay. His voice cracked. You're braver than anyone I've ever known. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I'm not brave. I'm terrified. That's what makes it brave. She kissed him. Or he kissed her. Later, neither could say who moved first. It didn't matter. What mattered was the way the world narrowed to breath and touch and the revolutionary act of being gentle. His hands in her hair, hers clutching his shoulders. The kiss was slow, searching, like they were learning a new language. When they finally broke apart, foreheads pressed together, Andrea whispered, Stay. Tonight. Not for anything but this. Just stay. Janelle should have said no. Should have remembered the gap between their worlds. Should have protected herself. Instead, she said, Okay. And let herself believe for one night that she deserved something soft. Have you ever felt safe with someone you knew you shouldn't trust? Sometimes the heart knows things the mind can't explain. Share your story below. Morning came with violence. Janelle woke on Andrea's couch. They'd fallen asleep talking, her head on his chest, his arms around her like a promise. Dawn light painted the penthouse gold, and for 3 perfect seconds, she felt like she'd stumbled into someone else's life. A better one. Then his phone erupted. Andrea jerked awake, instinct taking over. He grabbed the phone, saw the name, and his entire body went rigid. Nico. What? Not a question. A command. Janelle sat up, pulling the blanket around herself, watching his face transform. The softness from last night, the man who'd danced with her, kissed her, held her like she was porcelain, vanished. In its place, the boss. Cold. Calculating. Dangerous. When? A pause. How many? Another pause. Longer. His jaw clenched. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. Stood. Didn't look at her. Andrea. Her voice felt small in the suddenly enormous room. You need to leave. He was already moving toward his bedroom, shedding the vulnerability of last night like a coat. What happened? Nothing that concerns you. The words were ice. Janelle stood, the blanket falling away. Don't do that. Don't shut me out after. After what? He turned and his eyes were flat. Empty. After we had dinner? After you slept on my couch? You think that changes anything? The words hit like fists. You said I mattered, she whispered. I say a lot of things. He disappeared into his bedroom. Janelle stood frozen, her mind trying to reconcile the man who'd held her last night with this stranger. She heard drawers opening, the unmistakable sound of a gun being loaded. When he emerged, he was someone else entirely. Dark suit, darker expression, a shoulder holster visible under his jacket. This was Andrea Vitale, the Mafia boss. The man the city feared. Not the broken father who kept letters to his dead daughter. "There's been a hit," he said, checking his weapon with practiced efficiency. "One of my warehouses. 3 men dead. This is my world. Janelle. Blood and bodies and consequences. Still think I'm safe? I never said you were safe. I said you made me feel safe. Then you're a fool." He holstered the gun. This, he gestured between them, was a mistake. A moment of weakness. I don't get to have moments. I don't get to have. He stopped himself. You need to leave. Now. So that's it? You're just going to pretend last night didn't happen. Last night was a fantasy. His voice was brutal in its precision. I'm a killer, Janelle. I've ended lives. Ordered deaths. Built an empire on fear. You want to know the real me? The real me would have used you and discarded you without a second thought. Last night I pretended to be someone I'm not. Someone who deserves soft things. But I don't. Tears burned her eyes. You're doing this to protect me. I'm doing this because it's the truth. He moved to the door, held it open. There's an envelope on the kitchen counter. $50,000. Consider it severance. Payment for services rendered. Whatever helps you sleep at night. The words were designed to wound. They succeeded. You're a coward, Janelle said, her voice shaking. Not because of what you do out there, but because you finally felt something real and it terrified you so much you're burning it down before it can burn you. Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe. Or recognition. Get out. She grabbed her coat, her bag. Walked past him without looking back. The elevator doors closed on his face. Still hard, still closed, and she let herself break. By the time she reached the lobby, she was sobbing. 3 days passed like years. Janelle went through the motions. Picked up extra shifts. Avoided the penthouse building like it carried plague. The envelope sat unopened on her kitchen table. $50,000 she couldn't bring herself to touch. Blood money. Guilt money. Money that said you were nothing but a transaction. She talked to her mama's picture. I'm so stupid, Mama. I let myself believe. Let myself think maybe, just maybe, I could have something good. She pressed her palms to her eyes. He showed me his heart and I showed him mine and then he just threw it away. But late at night, when sleep wouldn't come, she remembered. The way he'd touched her face like she was precious. The letters to his daughter. The loneliness carved so deep in him it had its own voice. The kiss that felt like coming home. I'd catch you, Janelle. Had he meant it? Or was she just another ghost in his collection? Andrea was drowning. He'd handled the warehouse situation with characteristic efficiency. Found the traitors. Made examples. Reminded Chicago why the Vitale name meant fear. But at night, his penthouse echoed. He'd returned to find it exactly as she'd left it. 2 wine glasses on the table, the couch cushions still dented from where they'd fallen asleep. He should have had his cleaning service come. Erase the evidence. Instead, he left it. Proof that for one night, he'd been human. You're distracted, boss. Nico sat across from him in the warehouse office, concern creasing his face. This isn't like you. I'm fine. You've been staring at that wall for 10 minutes. And you let the Giordano family slide on their payment. The old you would have sent a message. The current you just shrugged. Andrea's jaw tightened. Are you questioning my leadership? I'm questioning if you're still here. Nico leaned forward. Talk to me. What happened? Nothing. Boss. Andrea. I've known you 15 years. You've been a ghost since Elena and Bella died. Cold. Efficient. Untouchable. But these past few days? You're not a ghost. You're a man in pain. That's different. That means something woke you up. Andrea closed his eyes. Saw Janelle's face. The way she'd looked at him that last morning. Hurt, yes, but also understanding. Like she saw through his armor to the terrified man beneath. You finally felt something real and it terrified you. She was right. He'd felt the ice around his heart cracking and he'd panicked. Chosen familiar numbness over terrifying possibility. Chosen survival over life. I met someone, he said quietly. Nico waited. Someone real. Someone who saw me. Not the boss, not the name, not the fear. Just me. Andrea's voice roughed. And I destroyed it. Told her it was a mistake. Sent her away. Why? Because I don't deserve it. Because everyone I love dies. Because you're afraid. Nico's voice was gentle. Boss, you face down families, feds, wars. But one woman scares you more than all of it. She makes me want things I can't have. Can't? Or won't? Nico stood. You've been dead 5 years. Maybe it's time to let yourself live. After he left, Andrea sat alone with his ghosts. He thought about Bella. About the letters he'd never send. About how he'd turned his grief into a prison and called it protection. He thought about Janelle. Working 4 jobs. Finishing shifts with exhaustion in her bones. Still wishing. Still hoping. Still brave enough to stay when any sane person would run. She'd lost everything too. But she hadn't let it make her cruel. Andrea pulled out his phone. Stared at her contact. Cleaning. He changed it. Janelle. Then he did something he hadn't done in 5 years. He chose hope over fear. The knock came at 11 p.m. Janelle almost didn't answer. Her neighborhood wasn't the kind where late-night knocks meant good things. But something made her look through the peephole. Andrea Vitale stood in her hallway, looking completely out of place in his expensive suit among the peeling paint and flickering lights. She opened the door. I don't have security here, she said. No guards. No cameras. Just me. You could have called. I needed to see your face. He looked nervous. Andrea Vitale. Nervous. Can I come in? She stepped aside. Her studio apartment could have fit in his bathroom. One room serving as bedroom, living room, kitchen. But it was hers. Clean. Photos on the walls. Her mama, her sister. Memories she refused to let fade. Andrea took it all in. It's beautiful. It's tiny. It's loved. That makes it beautiful. He turned to her. I'm sorry. For what I said. How I said it. All of it. You meant it. I meant to hurt you. To push you away before you could leave on your own. He stepped closer. I've spent 5 years convinced I don't deserve happiness. That wanting anything good means it'll be taken away. So I stopped wanting. Stopped feeling. Stopped living. And now. Now I'm standing in your apartment at 11 p.m., terrified you'll tell me to leave. His voice cracked. I'm standing here choosing you, Janelle. Choosing life. Choosing the risk of feeling something, even if it destroys me. Tears blurred her vision. You can't just throw money at me and disappear, then show up here expecting. I know. I know. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. The one from his kitchen counter. I brought this. I need you to take it. Not as payment. Not as guilt. But because you deserve to finish your nursing degree. Because you deserve to work 1 job instead of 4. Because your mama would want you to. Janelle stared at the envelope. Andrea. Let me take care of you. He set it on her table. Not because you need saving. But because you've been carrying the world alone for 3 years and you don't have to anymore. He took her hands. Let me be the person who catches you. You're still a dangerous man. Yes. You've done terrible things. Yes. You'll do more terrible things. Probably. He cupped her face. But with you I want to be better. Not perfect. Not redeemed. Just better. You make me want to remember what it's like to be human. Janelle's tears spilled over. I'm so tired of being alone. Then don't be. He pulled her close, and she let herself collapse into him. All the weight, all the fear, all the exhaustion. He held her through it. I can't promise you easy. I can't promise you safe. But I can promise you seen. I see you, Janelle Morrison. And I'm not looking away. She pulled back, looked up at him. Tell me your real wish. The echo of his words to her. Full circle. Andrea's eyes shimmered. You. I wish for you. For mornings and nights and all the ordinary moments between. I wish for a life that feels like living again. Janelle kissed him. Soft. Sure. Choosing him back. Merry Christmas, she whispered against his lips. He laughed. Real, unguarded. It's December 19th. Close enough. She smiled. Besides, you're my Christmas miracle. The thing I wished for when I thought no one was listening. I was listening. He pressed his forehead to hers. I'll always be listening. Outside, snow began to fall over Chicago, covering the city in soft white. Inside, two people who'd spent years invisible finally let themselves be seen. And in a safe deposit box across town, next to letters for a daughter in heaven, Andrea would later add one more envelope. A letter to Bella, telling her about a woman named Janelle. About second chances and unexpected grace. About how sometimes, the best wishes are the ones that accidentally find their way to exactly who needs to hear them. What's your real wish? The one underneath all the others. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is let ourselves want something. Tell us in the comments what you're wishing for this season. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.